value of a cryptocurrency if it became a dominant non-sovereign store of value. A natural place to start is as a fraction of the technology that is currently filling that role, namely gold, which has a total value of $7.8 trillion. Of the total above-ground stocks of gold of 187,200 metric tons, 38% is in the form of bullion holdings, of which a little less than half was held by the official sector, i.e. central banks, and the remainder by the private sector. The remainder of above-ground gold is almost all in the form of fabricated products, which breaks down roughly to 80% jewelry and 20% industrial products, as of August 21st, 2017. One possible scenario, if crypto is adopted as a dominant non-sovereign store of value, could be that in the long run, private people hold 1 to 3 times what they hold today as bullion in crypto. We'll say that it's more because more people will probably be able to use cryptos than people who use gold today, because they can easily be stored on a pen drive or paper wallet. But let's say that governments are more reluctant and only hold 1/4 to 1 times what they hold in bullion today. Calculating with those numbers, we would estimate that the dominant store of value crypto could be worth 25 to 78% of total gold stocks in the long run, so between $1.9 and $6.1 trillion. Do not take this as a prediction, there are a lot of ifs. It's just one scenario that requires all of the previous assumptions to happen. But if a crypto is adopted as a dominant non-sovereign store of value, maybe it would replace more than just part of the gold reserves. All the countries in the world hold a total of $12.7 trillion worth of reserves. Only about 11% are gold. 63% are in US dollars, 20% are in euros, and 3% are in other fiat currencies like British pounds, Japanese yen, and Swiss francs. And 3% are what are called IMF SDRs and related assets. Now, it's probably pretty uncomfortable for a country to hold the majority of their reserves in another country's fiat currency. Also, having to use dollars as a currency for international transactions simply because it has the most liquidity gives the US a lot of power because they control the SWIFT system through which all dollar-based transactions have to go. Some of those countries might prefer a token that is not controlled by a government. So let's say, to put a number on it, that between 1/4 and 3/4 of all non-gold international reserves are replaced by this monetary store of value crypto asset, in the case that that happens at all. That would add $2.8 to $8.5 trillion to its value. So it would be a total of $4.7 to $14.6 trillion. It could be even more if it also replaces the dollar as standard unit of account for global trade and commodity prices. Again, lots of ifs. Don't take any of this as investment advice. If one crypto would become used as a store of value in the long run, which is not guaranteed, which one is currently the most likely? Probably Bitcoin, because it has the most users, the most decentralized governance, to the point of being dysfunctional, more hashing power than any other crypto, was never hacked despite being around the longest, and despite lacking some fancier features has performed flawlessly in that one feature as a store of value. A lot of things can happen that could make Bitcoin lose its dominance as a crypto asset, although just a couple of fancy features doesn't seem to be a good enough reason for another crypto to take over. But if it became the dominant non-sovereign store of value and all of the above happened, in the long run it could be worth a total of $4.7 to $14.6 trillion, and in that case, each Bitcoin would be worth somewhere between $260,000 and $800,000 each. If this happens at all, it could take very long. But if its advantages over the current technologies are large enough, its adoption could also be quite fast, like the shift from horses to cars for transportation, which happened pretty quickly despite requiring a lot of new infrastructure. Bitcoin doesn't require the construction of new infrastructure at all. There are a lot of people complaining that Bitcoin needs to be more scalable and fungible, which of course would be nice. But as a store of value, the current state of its technology is already good enough. Again, no one can predict the future. Everything mentioned are educated guesses, based on logical assumptions. But all of it could be proven completely wrong by reality. But if you find any of it interesting, definitely read the original paper. There are some additional details that didn't fit into this video.